Okay, it's Thursday, the 31st of October, 2023. The AI revolution, how to prepare your business to be an AI winner. So just to confirm, this is aimed at business leaders, CEOs, MDs, founders, etc., board directors, NEDs, chairs. It is not a techie talk. I will keep to a minimum any jargon. We're not going to get lost into technology comparisons, data stacks, and the benefits of SQL versus no SQL. And if that was lost on you, great. This is where you need to be. It may be a stretch to think that ChatGPT is still a baby. It's hot on all our consciences. Yet a year ago, next month, it arrived. Large language models, ChatGPT, Google Bard, and lots of others. Every tool you use now has an AI part to it. It's just the tip of the iceberg. It looks like the start of the AI revolution. What will it mean to you and your business? What parts of business, industry will it impact? If you're in manufacturing, AI has been around in one form or another for many years. But for the rest of us, it's only just starting, and it will gather pace. You either get on board and make it work, or you'll get dragged along in its wake. Should you go all in, bet the farm, or should you wait and see? According to a recent McKinsey report, they worry that the laggards will be left behind, far behind. But does that mean you need to find lots of money for AI today? That's kind of your choice. Whichever route you eventually settle on, you should be getting your business ready for AI. And that's what I will outline today. We'll be talking about the two key steps you need to be doing right now. The second part of that is the framework that we've developed. And this is what some of your peers are doing right now. My aims for this session are to be thought-provoking, to prick your curiosity, to get you to ask yourself, are we ready for AI? Are we really data-driven? How will we use AI? How will it impact us? And during this session, I would like you to gain a greater understanding of the issues and solutions I've experienced with other clients. Many are common in every business, so if anything resonates with you, pop it into the chat and I'll cover it if I can, now or later. Remember, the chat is private and cannot be seen by anyone else, now or on any recording. Secondly, I want to introduce you to the Intellidat way of getting AI ready, of being an AI winner. And I hint here, it's not about the technology. I apologize in advance. I'm very passionate about this topic. So if I start preaching, if I sound like I'm telling you what you need to do, bear with me. AI is new. We need to think in new ways. And finally, we'll have any questions. Pop these into the Q&A section rather than the chat. Both are confidential, only visible to you and me, and neither will be visible or appear on any recording. Just use the chat to make notes, things that resonate or jar. You can see them, I can see them, nobody else. Remember, I'm genuinely not trying to sell you anything. If you go ahead and get yourselves ready without any help from me, then that I regard as a win for me. I know that I add value to this broad process by reducing the number of mistakes and accelerating the time frame. Both mistakes and time are expensive, and not just in financial terms. And how I can ever help you or work with you is open for discussion. If we get to that stage, then we'll be working together for a common cause. I want to take full advantage of this time to introduce you to the concept of what I call intelligent data. What does it really mean to be data-driven, and why does it matter today to take this seriously? Being data-driven prepares you for AI ready. It laid down the foundations. Why there has to be a sense of urgency about this topic together? While it's not simply a case of money, and if you're thinking we cannot afford to do this, the question that you may need to be considering is this: can you afford to ignore it? I want to discuss the vital relationship between people, processes, systems, and technology. Call it the culture, a business culture that focuses on the key pillars of information, knowledge, efficiency, risk aversion, and the data that is created and runs through your business. Why is it crucial to address this now? Why is it so important to put data at the heart of your digital or information strategy? Why should we be focusing on data, not applications, not technology? Data-centric rather than application-centric. I want to address some of the generic myths and mistakes many businesses tend to make. It's all about technology. This is quite a big issue. Technology is the tools that are used for your systems. The value lies in your data and what you can do with it, not your tech stack. Quantity of data over quality, the effect and danger of data silos. A silo is a container with a defined and sometimes impenetrable set of boundaries. Information and data are managed by IT. Data is best determined and managed by the business. IT looks after the technology that manages it. Data lakes and data warehouses are a cure for all data issues. They do have their role, but far too often they're used as an expensive sticking plaster for other data issues. And finally, how and where do you start? This is the most simple one to answer, with the business and identifying what are the needs of your business. Business foundations start with a business strategy. A business strategy is generally regarded as an essential part of success. I will desist from asking here how many of you do not have a business strategy, but assume that everyone has something, formal, informal, even on a napkin or the back of a fag packet, as we used to say. An information strategy is an essential part of that business strategy. An information strategy underpins your business strategy today. Do you rely on gut feel or experience to make decisions? Maybe backed up by data and reports. Today, we need to pivot that reliance, rely on the data, and back that up by referring to gut feel and experience. We need to become data-driven. If you don't agree with your data, don't shrug it off, fix it, or get it fixed. Data-driven is a great soundbite, but it's not so easy to deliver. Why is this such an important step? AI is data insights and action driven without human curation. You have to get confident in your data, trust your information before you can ever really accept AI. It's a cultural change for many businesses, not comfortable, but must be addressed. Do you rely on specific people to run reports, or can anyone run them? Do you question the outputs more than you believe them? When should we start? Do not delay, start today. There are two strands. One, starting your AI strategic thinking. What part of AI will be most beneficial? Where can we benefit best? Where should we start? Bring your best heads together from all across the business, leaders, managers, the worker bees on the front line, as well as the techie types. Open forum, blue sky thinking, as we all say. How can you make yourselves better, faster, more efficient? Where will you benefit most from better information, forecasting, prediction? And secondly, you need to be getting your business AI ready. And that is what we're going to talk about here. It was less than a year ago that ChatGPT landed on a computer near you. To paraphrase Neil Armstrong back in 1969, that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. ChatGPT is a tool, large language model allied to generative AI, to be technical. It gets mixed reviews. As it gets used more, it gets better, or it produces the average sum of indifference. It does divide opinion. The reality is, nobody really understands what it is doing and how. And secondly, this whole area is moving at warp speed. Iterations, variants, application, Bard, Claude AI, Bing, and so on and so forth. If you've ignored it so far, what about your competitors? Are they ignoring it? I'm not saying that you should be using it now. I'm saying you must think about it and all the other strands of AI that are coming to fruition. But if you're here, I'm confident that you are thinking about it. But don't finish with me and put it all on the back burner, box ticked. Think, how will AI affect my industry, my market, my business? How will it affect me, my role, my job? Ooh. Sorry. So let's be realistic. I'm sorry about that. As I talk about AI and data and information, your minds are probably going, IT, and where does this fit in with our current model? I think you're largely right. Data and information is invariably tied to IT. The problem with this, to me, is that IT is dominated by technology demands, not so much by information. Information and knowledge is the lifeblood of a modern business and a modern business leader. You will not survive without access to both, and that all starts with data. Do you have data quality issues? The reality is every business has data quality issues. The differentiator is how one approaches that issue. I'm quite straightforward, pragmatic, and I like to break things down to simple concepts. To me, there are two basic types of issues around master data. The first issue, the master data that we need now, the data that we are capturing, is not meeting our business needs for information and insights. Reports that don't quite answer your questions, take too long to get, give variable insights or no insights at all. They're frustrating, slow, and in reality of limited value or use. We're back to a reliance on experience and gut feel again. Two, there is information that we need or will need, questions that we will need to address, trends we will need to analyze, where we're not even capturing the data that we will need. And how do we address data quality issues like these? The first is easy, fix at source. Basically, this issue arises from our systems. We're not capturing the data we need in the way that we need it. So look at your processes, your systems, and your master data structure and sort it. I said it was easy. That is often not true. It takes a particular skill, a particular vision to get it sorted. But as we will see, it's not actually rocket science. It's quite hard work, but that's no different to marketing, sales, operations, HR, or finance. If it's wrong there, you roll up your sleeves, you fix it. You don't look for a technology solution that will do it for you. The second element is the data that we will need to answer the questions that we know we're going to have to address. Why? Because our strategy is evolving. We need to be dynamic, agile. We need to know more about our changing business, our market, our data, our industry. And to do that, we need to keep addressing more our information needs, and that means our data. And to do that, we need many of the same skills as in point one. To be agile, you need to anticipate what you need to know. You need to be able to react quickly to changing circumstances. And like every other business discipline, this never sits still. Sitting still is stagnation. It means going backwards. In particular, it means not going forwards. And as we enter this new AI-powered world, can you afford to be stagnating? Can you afford to be not going forward? Hopefully, you will soon be reminded, what are the secrets that you will need to succeed? And when I speak of data, the chances are you think of IT. But when I say IT, you probably think of money, 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 never-ending spend on IT and technologies. Does this resonate? Lack of tangible benefits, too much time making things work, struggling to measure success. Maybe confusion, frustration, anxiety, concern. Is this where you are with AI? As someone quoted to me recently, I have a generational mistrust of technology, and I can understand and agree. But is it an issue with technology as such? Maybe it reflects our expectations, the way that we buy tech and how we implement it. Do your staff view your systems as allies or oppressors? Too often, it's the latter. They demand lots, they do, but do they actually help? Do they make work easier, less stressful, more professional, less amateur? Good systems work for your staff, not against them. They are embraced and, dare I say it, enjoyed. Does anyone ever leave your employment and when you next see them, they say something like this: I miss your systems. I wish our systems at XYZ Limited were as good as yours. Maybe they should. Maybe that could be a KPI. These are key questions you need to be asking yourself, and they all come back to the basic first step, the need to be data-driven. Are your forecasts accurate? Do you rely on specialists to deliver standard reports? Is your working day peppered with surprises? Do you really trust your data and have confidence in your information and insights? Or only if someone you trust has sense-checked it first? Have you found that you just have more questions than answers? If any of this resonates, please do not ignore it. Address it before you get left behind. Does it make you think, we should be doing this better? So what about the AI challenges? Here are some of the titles of issues that business leaders raise with me. How do we stay ahead of the competition? How do we maintain our competitive advantage? What technical expertise and data resources? How do we understand what our business is going to need? How do we maintain a competitive edge, creativity and contact? How can we react to changing customer demand in real time? AI talent is expensive, so what does your business, your industry need? How do you find this out? How do you help it differentiate you from the competition? How to prepare your business? AI is a revolution that is already underway. Businesses need to prepare for the changes that AI will bring, or they will be left behind. Are you reframing your thinking about AI by seeing it as an opportunity to streamline processes, solve complex problems, and improve decision-making? How will AI affect you? Are you researching and understanding the potential impact of AI on your industry, job function, personal life? Get yourselves AI ready. Finally, there are some other questions which I will not be addressing directly today. Is there a future for business without AI? How will AI change the business landscape? How will AI impact jobs? Are jobs really at risk? Ethics, how to use AI for good, the legal implications of using AI. Are you excited by the possibilities, worried or concerned? Please give me some feedback in the chat. Your feedback helps me make this presentation better in future. So let me have it, please. Good, bad, ugly. If you haven't already, can I please ask you to open your chat box? Delighted as I am to welcome you here, I would like to ask, who are you and why are you here? What is your job title and what single thing are you hoping to get out of this session? Maybe which word encapsulates your mood best around the AI question? Is it concern, anxiety, frustration, confusion, or excitement? If you don't know what you want, maybe you know what you don't want to hear. Pop it into the chat box. If I can, I will temper my webinar to address some key issues raised here. Are you struggling to be data-driven? Let alone AI ready? Yeah, well, I can sympathize with that. Even spread of words, concern, confusion. Yeah, hopefully it's a big topic. Happy to see some excitement. We must remember that this is about AI. AI is full of known unknowns and too many unknown unknowns, so I sympathise with everyone on here. Truth be told, I often feel much the same. I do not have the answers. I'm not sure anyone does. What I will fix on is what you can do to be best prepared, to be ready to recognise what is going on and be ready to take advantage. We call it AI Ready. As you will see, the concepts of data-driven AI Ready are closely linked. They both need the same basics, the same foundations to be in place, so that is where we're going. I hope that this will resonate with you, that you understand that addressing AI in one way or another is crucial. Just keep your wallets closed for the time being. First, understand what you need, and that is not an excuse to procrastinate. There is a huge sense of urgency around this topic, so please do not put it off. Where and how to start, and that's where we're coming to now. The AI revolution, this is a quick overview of what we're doing. We're going to start off with the foundation section. Whether you're looking to be data-driven or AI ready, the basics are the same. You just have to get your foundations right. The focus is on data, accurate, real-time, accessible. How and where you capture data and where you use it. Communication, knowing what metrics you use, how they're defined and how they're measured. The people, processes, systems, knowing how your whole business works. Processes make your business unique. The systems are about delivering your process ecosystem efficiently. I say that advisedly. Often problems appear because systems are single process or single department orientated. They're not owned by the business, with business needs at their heart, and this is where the silo issue is normally rooted. Knowing where you are and where you're going. Foundations is all about having this in place. And so how do we get going? How do you put these foundations in place? We'll call this the process. The detail varies between all businesses, but the key steps in our framework apply to all businesses, large or small, established or startup. What can you learn that you can apply? There are certain disciplines that we've found apply in part or in whole to all businesses. They're not rocket science. We've been putting together our framework for AI foundations for the past 5 years, based on 30 years of experience of delivering quality information and knowledge. And the key takeaways from all of that time: stop worrying about technology choices and get the basics sorted first. The technology choices, the decisions as to what to spend and why, they become easier. And by following a tried and tested path, it becomes much easier to put in place the metrics and KPIs. What does success look like in our AI ready state? How are you measuring success in IT? How do you measure your return on investment right now? But going through this process and with your foundations addressed, it becomes easier to put a value on success and a cost on failure. And when you can identify the real cost, benefit, or value of doing things right and the cost of doing them wrong, you can place a material value on what you're doing and you can measure your return on investment. By the end of this presentation, I would like to think that you have the confidence to recognize the actions you might consider, knowing where you need to accelerate. Maybe you need to stop doing things and where you should also focus your efforts and resources. You can always do it yourself. I'll not be holding back, glossing over key steps. I want you to succeed, and hopefully that is where you will be later today. However, can you afford to make mistakes? Take too long? And that is where I help. Time and mistakes are both expensive. Avoiding them is where I add value. The reality is that strands of AI have been in use in business for quite a while. Robotics in manufacturing replacing repetitive tasks, large language models powering bots that answer questions automatically, predictive and forecasting tools. It was the launch of ChatGPT that opened up the frenzy, but AI has been around in one form or another for several years. The arrival of large language models has opened eyes and avenues for application. There is one application that I've come across recently that will potentially disrupt a major part of our business lives, and I'll cover it near the end of the session. But what should you be doing now? First of all, you need to start with your AI strategy team. Consider how AI will affect your business. Get people who are curious about technology and your business. It's not just about ChatGPT and generative AI. I have a list of topics you might want to consider, and I'm happy to share that if you're interested. Ask in the chat or let me know afterwards. I hope this is making sense. If I'm going too fast or skipping key bits, please let me know. If I can help you on air, I will certainly aim to address issues later today or tomorrow via email. Please put thoughts and comments in the chat. I'm always happy to get on a call with you and help you address specific questions or give you advice. I do not charge for this, nor is there any expectation. I genuinely love helping. If I eventually get paid, that is definitely the cherry on the top. So who am I? I'm the founder of Intellidat. My name is Philip Milne. We've been going for 5 years. My premise back in 2018 was that AI was coming and would revolutionize the way that we do business. I saw it as being data-driven without human curation. Data identifying insights, systems in place to implement them. That was my vision back then, pre-pandemic. It still is today, though I'm older and wiser as to what is needed to get to this point. Many of my potential clients were not ready for AI. Many still struggle. So if that's you in part or whole, don't worry, you are not alone. However, now is the time to address these issues. Get them sorted. Don't leave it much longer. AI comes in many forms, and it is already here. It is already changing the speed at which people make decisions and do business. There is a real danger good, sound businesses may get left behind. Before that, I was the founder and group operations director of a company known as the Concerto Group. I was known as God. I wore many hats: Chief Operating Officer, Information Officer, Digital Officer, Health and Safety, Payroll, Operations, Delivery. We grew from a startup to a £40 million a year company and a successful sale to a trade competitor in 2017. In the early days, my partner was all sales and marketing. My job was everything else, building the internal bridges to meet client expectations. And as the business grew and expanded, our needs changed. Marketing, mergers and acquisition, M&A brought integration issues. Vertical expansion came with growing pains. We always had very good data and information. It was based on the concept of integrated business systems. All our technology spoke to the same database, and it was excellent value for money. The business management system, BMS as we called it, provided a backbone across the whole business, a mix of best-of-breed systems, all focused on data, accurate real-time data, and accessible single source of truth. And as we sold the business, I was already planning how AI would be integrated in the future. I was planning to revolutionize our business forecasting, more automation opportunities using machine learning. We were going to improve our service levels. We were going to make reporting even better and more intuitive. And how would we have achieved this? I'll come to that shortly. That was my background when I set up Intellidat, a play on the words intelligent data. The reality that I found was that our focus on data was not the norm. It was unusual. Most companies I began talking to spent far more money on technology, but they tended not to have a clear data and technology leadership, an information strategy, even a data vision. How much is your information data costing you today? Technology, people, time. At Concerto, ours was less than 1% of turnover, but I think that was exceptionally good value. As we will see soon, I've helped businesses where expenditure was in excess of 10%. That would have been £4 million per annum for me at Concerto, and that particular client told me they could not afford anything decent. I was very polite. So how do we help at Intellidat? By getting the foundations up to speed, by focusing on your business needs, mentoring existing teams, building new ones, helping individual businesses identify the business need and how they best get there. We work in various ways: light touch and advisory mentor role with some minor teeth, a steering role, leadership in an advisory capacity, fractional leadership role, not full-time, not a consultant, invested in your business and your success, or a driving role, an interim leadership, pushing for short-term improvements in these foundations. We also work as a board advisor, mentor, and delivering data value to the board, a longer-term relationship, and finally, on occasion, in a short-term consultancy role. And what makes me special? I've covered nearly every business role at one time or another, so that means I have a very broad brush view of how all the teams can and should work together. Specifically, I'm an expert at identifying how to design and implement integrated business systems so that they do their job, are user-friendly, efficient, scalable, and promote best practice, both off-the-shelf, SaaS, or bespoke solutions. I practice disciplines like business system and solution architecture, process management and mining, 21st century reporting solutions, data governance and cybersecurity. However, I'm not a technician. I describe myself as a logical, pragmatic businessman who talks techie. I understand how businesses can take advantage of technology. I have done it all my working life, but I'm not profligate. IT, information, data, it's part of the business machine. It is either helping achieve business goals, it is part of the P&L focus, or it needs to change. I am focused on outcomes, efficiency and productivity, reporting, automation and forecasting that works and helps you achieve your aims. I grew up with the mantra, cash is king. Without cash, we cannot trade. It's not about profit or revenue. They're important, but the immediate need is always cash. To me, cash is still the king. But the royal family now includes an equal partner, data. Data is your queen. Data should be your most valuable intangible asset, especially today. Why is the value of your data so much more important today? Data and information is the power behind the throne. It informs agile businesses and modern leaderships. Being digitally literate today means understanding how your business uses data and information and how it can do that better. And that brings us back to AI. AI is the rocket propulsion that will drive all businesses today and tomorrow. AI or machine learning is already changing the way that we do things. ChatGPT is on everyone's lips. The rate of change will accelerate. Soon, it'll be too late. We need to be acting now. You're going to need your own intelligent data to be a winner. Being a laggard, as we've heard from McKinsey & Co., will be most damaging to corporate health. At this early stage, it's not about technology. It's about your needs and your culture. The technology will follow. The immediate need in many businesses is to get the foundations and culture ready. And is there a rush? Yes, because it is happening and it is already moving very quickly. However, spend in haste, regret at leisure. Get the basics right, your foundations, identify what you need, understand how you can deliver. You should be looking quite hard at what you do, how you do it, and where you need to improve. Nothing should be above review. It does not matter how much you spent on a new ERP system last year or 10 years ago. If it's not fit for purpose, if it's not adding real value, if it does not fit your data vision, it will cost you ever more money as you go forward. Have you started any form of AI strategizing? There are two bits all businesses should have done. If not, they should be doing them now. The first bit of the solution is getting a strategic review underway. How will AI affect your business? Is ChatGPT relevant? Yes, no, yes, no. It's a working example of a large language model and generative AI. It understands questions and inputs. However, your AI strategy should not be focused on ChatGPT. If you look at your marketing function, one can compare ChatGPT to, say, display advertising. It's a part of the marketing mix at some businesses. So ChatGPT is to AI. It is one strand of a broader topic. So where does your business need AI? What are the quick wins? How will you benefit in the medium term? Customer services, chatbots or intelligent wikis, repetitive activities, highlight potential and opportunity, highlight threats, forecasting and modeling. How can you improve service, reduce costs, spot opportunities, intelligent forecasting? I defy anyone to understand the real long-term implications quite yet. So in the short term, focus on your needs, not the tools. Until you have your foundations in place, focus on your needs. Where will you benefit most? What do you need to do? How do you drive new opportunities? How do you make yourself more efficient? Have you started an AI strategy? If yes, is it making progress? I'd love some feedback here. This is very much an internal issue to address. You need to know your business very well as understanding how AI can impact it. If you're already looking at or about to implement a route, or an AI solution, the biggest single piece of advice I can give you is keep it small, manageable, and focus. Do not let everyone have their say. Avoid scope creep, or it will most likely fail, and you will lose faith in AI, and you will be left behind eventually. The second part after the strategic preparation is getting yourself and your business AI ready. And that should be happening at the same time, and that is what we're going to focus on now. What are the foundations to being AI ready? Are you spending ever more money on more technology? What is working? What is not working? Are we pouring good money after bad? Our reporting is not good enough. Why not? Our systems are expensive, but always need to be better to deliver promised results. Systems and processes are disjointed and lack a seamless experience. Are we getting value for money? Can we be more efficient? Are we being left behind? What do our systems say about our business? Do people think we're professional or amateur? Are we mired in spreadsheet? I call this framework your information strategy. Information that is based on data, intelligent data that gives us insights, not to be confused with that other data that is expensive and of limited use. The most important cornerstone of your business strategy in the 21st century, you need to know where you are now. You need to know where you want to get to. What do you need to succeed? Strategies underpin plans. It's the basis for building all and any digital transformation plans. And the key message that we're going to take away is focus on your data, not your technology. Where are you now? Well, you start with the business architecture. How do departments and processes link together, from marketing to finance, process and system review and analysis? How does data flow? What is the data vision? You build out your master data structure. You understand how your current systems work, an overview of what is used and where. The ideal is to build a comprehensive business model. It's not as difficult as you think, and it will deliver real long-term value as you use it to know your business, how it works, warts and all. And where do you need to get to? Understand the frustration, pinch points, business needs, resolve priorities and what needs to be done first. Get technology working for the business. Detail your ideal seamless process path. Model your current systems on top. Identify the biggest weaknesses. Plump low-hanging fruit. Prioritize changes and improvements according to defined priorities. How many of you on here have already started or already have an information strategy? Is it complete, in progress, thinking about it, never started? Feedback, as I say, is always appreciated. These are the 7 key drivers that we see in businesses that are already successful at building data value, being data-driven, and becoming AI-ready. The key ones, starting at the top, are information, leadership and culture, business architecture, and a business glossary, or as I'll mention in a moment, ideally a knowledge hub. I'm going to come back to these in a bit more detail. We then get down to the bottom to 6 o'clock. This is master data structure. I know this is starting to get a bit technical, but my experience has shown me that the leadership, the executive team, need to acknowledge that there is such a concept without having to understand it in detail. For instance, we all know there is a chart of accounts that guides the finance team. We ask for printouts to tell us how a particular cost center is doing. We might tell them what we need to know going forward, but we don't just change it ourselves. No department can declare UDI, go their own way. That is down to the CFO and the finance team to manage. The same is true with data. Data with value belongs to the business. It has value because it has context, not because there's lots of it. Having a recognized MDS, master data structure, is where this starts. Then we move on round integrated business systems. View the business in a holistic 360-degree way. Every process, system and technology is interconnected so as to deliver value, seamless, integration, no cutting and pasting or data transfers from one system to another. Integration and collaboration are the new buzzwords. There are crucial issues to resolve. Silos, data captured and stored in department, process and technology silos. Complex systems which are not elegant. Business, system and solution architecture is about reducing complication, making systems logical and elegant, introducing automation, promoting best practice, productivity through automation and efficiency, best practice through control and guidance. And finally, that most important element, the user experience. Happy users see their systems as their ally, not an oppressor. The next consideration is reporting. Is your reporting dependent on individuals or teams or departments? Data-driven means reporting democratization. Dashboards that have use and are used, designed for an audience, part of an SOP. Reports should be available to all those who need them, 24/7. Real-time, accurate data available to all. Allow your people to focus on deriving actionable insights, not getting the data, waiting on other people to produce the reports they need. And last, but by no means least, data governance. Data, if you get it right, can have value. But data always has potential liability, legal responsibilities, cost of storage. It's essential to address your governance, put the structures in place. Everyone will suffer a breach. They're probably happening to many of us right now. You must have the structures in place, not only to do the right thing, but also to be seen to be doing the right thing. I've listed the 7 key drivers. I'm not going to go into depth on all of them, but we'll focus quickly on the first 3. Before we move on, I'd just like to ask, who here has a formal data governance structure in place? Hand on heart, ready to open to the ICO when they come knocking on your door? Well, I haven't had any yeses and I haven't had any nos, so every market, country or confederation is getting in on this wagon. GDPR is the blue ribbon, but you now have to have them in the USA, Brazil, South Africa, and so on. The punishments are getting a bit larger. You may have heard €1 billion being meted out to Meta. Big numbers and bigger if you're not seen to be addressing it. Building in structures, not bolting them on. Ignore governance at your peril. Run well, it'll carry over into cybersecurity and resilience. Other big topics that happen to other people, never you or me. That was a dark joke. It happened to a friend of a friend 4 weeks ago. It is expensive, and however much I would like to have helped them, it really is very difficult to do anything quickly or simple after that horse has bolted. Rolls-Royce, Lloyds, Tesla and others on here are examples of household names who have adopted the information strategy to drive digital excellence. Established names and recent prodigies. I could add Facebook, Google and Amazon if you want. Less of a household name was my old business, Concerta Group. We put together our first information strategy as part of an inflection pivot in the early 1990s. Staff levels were approaching 20 people and management data was slow and inconsistent. This move alone set the foundations that allowed us to leapfrog the competition through organic growth and acquisitions, integrating new businesses, quickly and efficiently, understanding our customer needs, automating internal processes, and embracing the internet revolution by integrating web tools, e-com, and day-to-day systems, so information was always ready, seamless, consistent, accurate, and in real time. It was not housed in lakes or warehouses. There were no delays, quality information available to all teams when they needed it. I mentioned the concept of inflection points. As your business grows, you should get ready for the next stage of your development. The structure, processes, systems, and technology that you will need in that next phase. Leave it too late and it's really expensive to resolve. Roughly, when your business is approaching, and this is very rough, 10, 20, 100, 200, 800, or 1800 people, that's when you should be looking at an inflection point. We did our radical rethink at the 20 mark that served us well for the next 10 years as numbers grew past 200, with reviews along the way. But as I was always revisiting and improving our information strategy, our processes and systems were kept in line and our structures developed in parallel, departments, roles, specializations. And as we grew from 20 to 100 and on to 200, this focus on revisiting our process and systems and even technology kept our data valuable and relevant. And this is where insights come from, where to invest, where to improve, what to drop. Seamless integration of all people and all parts of the business. We could track our clients from marketing through sales, operations, and into finance. Great marketing data, superb real business intelligence, always on tap. And all stemming from that first information strategy, which we updated annually through our normal planning rounds. This is a recent example to underline the value of an information strategy. The client in question, they were turning over about £30 million, and it transpired spending over 10% on information handling, £3 million. Earlier, I asked if you had a figure. At Concerto, ours was £250,000, or less than 1% of our turnover. It was a regulated industry. All the departments had built their own systems, and there was no clear overriding leadership. They had 6 core technologies. They had a CRM system, project management system, obviously an account system. They also had an ERP. They'd just introduced a marketing automation system, and they had an expensive and inefficient data stack, a data lake and data warehouse. And as so often found, they had lots and lots of spreadsheet systems. They had security issues with sharing, using, and accessing data, huge potential for fines. They had a BI DevOps infrastructure team of 35 or more people. They had no real strategy or plan. All their reports were hand-cranked, slow. They had variable results, no confidence, expensive. They had data quality issues in silos. Departments creating their own reports, Power BI, spreadsheets, or manual. As I described it, all sweat, picks, and shovels. So what happened? Following a review on an information strategy, we identified lots of room to reduce the cost of technology. We also found opportunities to reduce the cost of delivery. We automate functions to improve communications and reducing data risks, improving reporting at all levels, dashboards aimed at specific audiences that work, that make reporting more useful and business-centric. We worked on introducing a culture of data quality and awareness, and this was probably the most difficult bit. And how? Well, we started with leadership and an information strategy. It really helped that we had buy-in to the process from top to bottom. Cultural change was embraced. It was an ongoing process, and it relied on input from all the stakeholders. We created a business process model, how the business should work, and compared that against reality. We cut out variations. We improved the ideal. We articulated a master data structure. We started a simple glossary, but that very quickly upgraded this to a business knowledge hub to improve communication and in particular to adherence to regulations. We went heavily into integrating systems, rationalized technology to save money, and improved data collaboration. Data quality was improved mainly through reducing and then removing those horrible data silos, seamless integration of technology, departments, and processes. Part of it, we moved towards a single data house, based this case on Microsoft SQL solutions, dropping Oracle and diverse open source solutions, which all help reduce the cost of our data stack, in turn reducing the cost of our data. They recently upgraded to an AI-driven reporting solution to replace legacy Power BI-based platforms. We reduced complication, we simplified where possible, we introduced elegant solutions. And now they're data-driven, they're AI-ready. That wasn't part of our brief, but they're definitely AI-ready. They really trust their data and have great confidence in their information insights. No one questions data provenance. If they do, they look it up in the Business Knowledge Hub and then question it armed with greater knowledge, or they don't. They are AI curious and AI adopters. And the timescale, well, it was over 2 years of very hard work and considerable pain. It was a big tanker that needed to be moved with care onto a new bearing. My part in this was fractional information or operating officer role. I was reporting directly into the CEO. I was responsible for strategy, guiding and mentoring the teams most impacted, leadership in the early days. And we relied on support from the CEO and the whole of the exec team. Intellidat cost less than a decent member of staff over those 2 years, but delivered real quantifiable value. You could argue that they could have done it without us, and you're probably right, but not in that time frame, and certainly not achieving those outcomes. They certainly hadn't by then. Not all down to Intellidat though. 80% was internal, the way the leadership and the management bought in and the staff at all levels bore with the pain. I thought we'd done our job really well. Maybe we could have charged more based on the value that we delivered. But now we're on an extended retainer, a couple of days per month. Their choice, because the little tweaks we advise them tend to save them wasting time and money and help keep them focused on their basics. We keep their toes on the line and help maintain their strategic oversight. I was astonished at that initial figure of 10% of turnover. But with experience, and I found that while this is high, it's not that unusual. We got this cost down to just below 5% within 2 years, an annual saving of nearly £1.5 million every year, before we factor in all the additional benefits, before we add in the reducing costs of delivery, improved decision-making, speed of reaction, improved service levels, and so on. There is still room for improvement. Do you think you can achieve similar results? This is not an extreme case. What would you save if you could cut your information and data costs by 50%, not just once, but ongoing? In this case study, £1.5 million of annual overhead every year, and that's a lot of new clients. On top of this were the benefits in efficiency. These are less straightforward to quantify, but I think we're looking at operational staff costs down, stress down, mistakes down, even revenue up as they're now charging 100% for overruns. I think these figures will be in order of another £1 million, but that's yet to be proved. All for the cost of less than about £100,000 over 2 years. They had no idea they could save any money, let alone so much. And nobody was really thinking about AI. They will really definitely be counted as a potential AI winner today. We talked about our key drivers, and leadership and culture was step one. Leadership, whether from a CAO, information officer or digital officer or whatever, is more than very important. I think it's vital, without which we get a very fragmented approach. Departments and process owners demanding, designing and solutioning in isolation. Issues with naming conventions, storage, technology, accessibility, quality and responsibility. With no clear direction, you get frustration, confusion, anxiety, costs and more money. And whose problem is it? It's not someone else's problem to solve. Data quality belongs to everyone. We can see the benefits. We need to take ownership of the issues. Often de facto leadership is from the IT department, but that tends to be very technology based. And how do we resolve the problem? They're not looking at the business needs. So often when I first start working with a business, I can see if there's any clear vision, just like an accountant or a marketeer or a sales leader. You can spot the signs. So early work is invariably about setting the vision and the strategy, aligning with and supporting the business opportunity. Cultivating a data-driven culture, promoting digital literacy, raising employee and leadership expectations of what information technology can do. Training. I often start with a leadership course for the C-suite. Opens eyes as to what can be expected. Always going to be lots to do. Everyone will expect their priorities to be met now. So you have to manage the expectations. Planning, prioritization and delivery. Everything is important. What do we need to do first? What are the business priorities? We need to focus on the data vision. Make sure you're getting the data you need today, anticipating what you will need next year, aligning your data and information to your business objectives. You need to be able to drive, manage and implement change. You need to own the privacy, security, bias and fairness issues, allocate resources according to business priorities. A leader who's not associated with any department. I'll repeat that, because it's really important. A leader who's not associated with any department, accountable for success or failure, driving improvement, being able to drive change. In my experience, they need to be business first, see data and technology as tools that help deliver goals. Curiosity helps, technical understanding helps, communication. Sitting on the exec board certainly helps, so you can understand what is needed, what are the priorities. Success is not measured in expenditure, technology choices, or the size of the tech team. Measures of success and ROI are understood and in line with the business goals. Again, a slide with household names who have all emphasized the need for the culture of being data-driven. It's easy to say, but make no mistake, it's less easy to deliver. It's about your people and attitudes and habits. It enables agility and adaptability. Know where you are and where you're going. It aligns behaviors with organizational goals. Quality systems provide continuity across the business. Thinking about your business, can you identify the person who drives this for you? Is it you? Are you a CEO, MD, COO, or similar? It's really important to get this right, and I can't emphasize it enough. And another area, where do you start with your business? If you don't have a model, I cannot recommend enough the value of starting one. This is probably the single most important step you can take. You can start very top level and then drill down to add details. Start with an overview of your strategic objectives, goals, and KPIs. Connect your people, departments, roles, even names. Identify potential cost optimization, automation, and productivity opportunities. Knowing your business in real time makes you more agile. It's technically called business process modeling or business architecture. It's very popular in countries like Germany. In fact, any economy with a higher productivity rate than the UK. You can address cost, risk, efficiency, productivity, opportunities. We are iGraphics partners, I put their graphic in the corner there, who are a leading proponent of this, and we're happy to show you how it can help, whether as a demo or a proof of value. I used to call this one a glossary, but over the years, to me, it has evolved into a knowledge hub. Your business glossary, but with bells and whistles. Easy to find, easy to use, and available to all your staff. I always say, if it can save you 1% of your staff costs, what is that worth to you? A traditional glossary is just used to define terms, business-specific, industry, or more general. You've got to remember that reporting data is all about ones and zeros, so everything has to be defined. And if you can define it, if you can't define it, then you're going to struggle. If you'd like to know more about knowledge hubs, do get in touch. And the top tips, we've covered our key drivers for success: leadership, modeling, glossary, or the knowledge hub. Get the foundations right, and the best for you depends on your business needs. But you do need to start with that clear leadership and culture, a vibrant business model, and a glossary. How will you measure your success or failure? How will you convert that into benefit and cost? How will you determine your data value? If you want an external opinion of what you might need to do, do get in touch. We're really happy to conduct complimentary workshop for your business, and more of this near the end. Or a call. I have a limited availability of calls this week, but if you want to go on dtp.im/call, if you can't get a call, drop me a line by email and I will fit you in. philip@intellidat.net. Okay, so how do you lay these foundations? What is the process you follow? Well, I'm hoping it's all pretty self-explanatory. But if you've got any feedback, any bits and pieces, do let me know, because I would like to improve this as I go along. So we've already been over these three primary drivers. Leadership, business focus, but talk techie. You don't need to be a technician or have any programming skills. It's just not relevant. You can buy those when you need them. You may not need a full-time. You may not warrant a full-time leader. And this is where someone like us comes in. Delivery as a fractional executive. The pace of change, remember, can be slow. Digital transformation is a culture shift. Big bang is sometimes needed, but iterative tends to be better. Do not underestimate the cost of inexperienced leadership, the value of good experienced leadership. It could be in the role of a mentor or leadership support for an existing team. We do not have a fixed response to every potential client. We need to understand what you need and then see if we can help. If we can't, we will certainly not suggest something inappropriate for either of us. Your business process model. Just high level is better than nothing. Detailing the key bets is really, really good. 70% of digital transformations fail. That's a lot of time, money, effort going to waste. But why do so many fail? I'm pretty confident that I know why. I hope by this stage you will have a good idea as well. Whether or not you want to go full hub, I cannot encourage you enough to build a glossary. It needs to be easy to find and to use, and it needs to be kept up to date, whether it's a Google Sheet or a PDF on your intranet. Or maybe you can use one of these new code solutions like Notion or Coda or even Airtable or Endako. Or you can cut out the pain and invest in a knowledge hub like ours. If you save 1% of your staff time, what is that? 1% of your gross annual staff budget. Not even adding in the total cost of office, technology expenses and support. It won't be a small figure, and it only gets bigger. And if you're in a regulated industry like pharma or finance, the benefits are even greater. So your information strategy, you need to base it on your business needs and keep really focused on your data focus. And as you develop it, you will find that you get lots of different priorities. So you must get your prioritization right. Everything is going to be a priority, but you can't do everything at the same time. What are the low-hanging fruit, the urgent bits? How can you keep people up to date as to what is actually going on? How can you keep people engaged so that they are not fearful of it and they join in with it? And then as you develop your plans with your needs and priorities, you can start making your plans. Keep them simple and iterative. Keep staff engaged and part of the process. Respect the input of your worker bees, the brains at the coalface. Keep your hub or glossary up to date as things change, and avoid the seduction of technology solutions that do it all for you. You will get pushback from individuals and departments, but if it is a business need, it must take priority. Explain, lead, try not to beat and thrash and threaten, and always focus on your data. Every tool, every technology, every system, every new idea, what does it have to do with our data? And the key part of any plan, what are the goals? How do we measure success? How do we quantify failure? How do we measure the return on investment? And that is where we will go now. This is the uncomfortable bit for IT and the techie-centric. How do you measure ROI? It's not easy or comfortable for anyone. How do you develop your strategy and plans? You will put in place your measures of success. What will success look like? How will you measure it? What are the direct costs? What are the indirect costs? How do we measure the indirect costs of success? The staff savings, improved customer experience, better decisions, less bad decisions, staff engagement and pride. I hope that this makes sense. What is an example of a key measure that you've used? Pop it into chat, let us know. Amazon, have any of us in common with Amazon? I'm going to flick through this. They are so huge and so powerful. Well, they're only 30 years old. 30 years ago, they started as an online bookstore, and their success has been based on constantly working out what we as customers need and how to deliver it. They're fixated on customers, maximizing experience, driving down costs. Revenues have looked after themselves. And how have they done that? By having the data at their fingertips to drive every decision. Jeff Bezos was fixated on the value of data from day one. Not technology, but data and data value. And if you haven't read up on it, the history of the Amazon 6-pager is well worth a read. Decisions based on data. Google and Facebook, again, whatever else they are, tech stocks they're called, they're not. They're media businesses, data-driven media businesses. And the benefits of focusing on data, agility. It's a valuable resource of being an agile business. Huge post-pandemic lesson from being able to forecast and predict potential outcomes. Knowing your customers as well as they know themselves. Opportunities to drive down revenue, costs up. Drive revenue up, cost down. Make bolder decisions with confidence. Data drives good decisions. It avoids bad decisions. Data shows where you are now. At the beginning, I said this was a two-stage process. The AI strategy, how will AI help your business? It's more than just ChatGPT. There are many strands in this topic. Creativity, content, automation, prediction, forecasting. If anyone on here really regard their business as being data-driven or AI ready, was there anything that you did that I've not covered? I'd really love to know about it. If you want to book a complimentary workshop and have a chat about it, then the application form is at dtp.im/workshop, or you can scan the QR code, or you can book a call to discuss this live. So in summary, I've tried to highlight the value of being data-driven, AI-ready. It's more than a soundbite. You cannot hope to spend money on technology to resolve these topics and issues. There is no magic bullet, no tech solution that is going to fix it. We've been over the foundations, leadership, your business model, the value of the glossary or hub. Avoid being data busy or busy data fools. Keep it simple. Buy the technology you need, not what you're being sold. Start an information strategy. Follow the logical steps of the framework. Avoid the data myths. Fix data at source. Avoid silos. Identify your intelligent data and keep it simple. If it sounds sensible, but you don't know how to start or how to finish, please ask. If you want help or advice or even just confirmation you're on the right track, please get in touch. If I cannot help you, I will tell you. I promised you this nugget at the beginning. AI in reporting is flying under the radar. Reporting democracy used to mean you run your own standard reports. If you wanted to answer a different question, you either had to go back to an analyst and wait for them to prioritize your work. Or maybe you open up Power BI or Tableau, ClickUp or Excel yourself and work out how to get the data and model it yourself. There are a new breed of solutions available, where you can just type in what you want to know in natural language, and that turns your question into a graph or a table as appropriate. What are the top 10 product lines in Europe this month? How do they compare to US top 10 products? That you can change the question at will, that you can refine your question, change the wording and the technology, and it'll return a different answer. Meanwhile, your analysts can do what they're paid for, analyze your data to drive better insights, not answer mundane questions about technology. There is a caveat to this, and it's called your data. These new solutions are very clever, but they cannot turn a pig's ear into a silk purse. I'm really sorry. If you need humans to curate your current reporting process, you'll probably still need humans in this new world. So fix your data at source, store it logically so that you do not need a data science degree to ask the right questions. These new breed solutions are similar in price to the incumbents, but they're miles ahead in value. If you want a solution to look at, drop me an email and ask in chat. If you want a recording or any of the bits we talked about, glossary, test, reporting solution, how to book a call, make a workshop, I'll share a link with you shortly. The chat is still open. If your need is super urgent, get in touch. You can phone me on the phone 07825 854 600 or philip@intellidat.net or book a call dtp.im/call. Thank you for your time. I look forward to meeting up with you again soon.